Council will please come to order. We invite you to stand for the prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. Our Father, who art, pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Kind of did those backwards, but I apologize. Our Father, who art in heaven, as a body we congregate in this council chamber for the betterment of our fellow citizens, lead us that we may do all things well. Amen. All right. All right. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Morton?
Present.
Mr. Stuchel?
Present.
Mr. Edwards?
Present.
Ms. Hausfeld? Here. Mr. Schildmeyer?
Present.
Mr. Culbertson?
Present.
And Mr. Estep?
Present.
Let the record show that all 7 members are present. This time I would like to ask everyone for a moment of silence for Mr. Dale Harmon. Dale was a retired firefighter who passed away recently. Did I say Dale? My bad. I looked at Dale down at Eagles. Don Harmon, I apologize. If we could keep their family in our prayers. Thank you. All right, members of council, what is your pleasure on the reading of the minutes of the last meeting?
Mr. President,
Mr. Schultmeyer.
I'd like to make a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Schultmeyer, seconded by Mr. Estep to dispense with the reading of the last minutes. Are there any remarks? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? So ordered. Members of council, are there any errors or corrections to the minutes as submitted? If not, the minutes will stand as submitted. Move to reports of city officials. Mayor Jonathan Stuchel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd first again like to offer my sympathy to the family of Don Harmon, who passed away April 10th. He proudly served the St. Bernard Fire Department for 31 years, retiring at the rank of captain. I'd also like to offer my condolences to the family of Henry Wall, who was a longtime resident of St. Bernard before moving to Maple Knoll Village and who passed away April 12th at the age of 103. I had the pleasure of presenting a proclamation to Mr. Wall in 2021 for his 100th birthday, which was a true honor. Godspeed to both of you. I'd also like to thank our awesome Recreation Department, our Service Department, Police and Fire Departments, and our incredible community for making this year's Easter celebration such a great event. Families were out in full force, and we didn't let a little rain spoil the day. I would also like to thank Mr. Williams for diving right in to all of the many issues that he is working to accomplish during his tenure here in the village so far, and offering his professional recommendation on numerous items in the village, and it is greatly appreciated. One very important item that we have been discussing is creating an in-house position for a zoning and code enforcement administrator. This is a process that we'll be going to start on immediately to try to get more properties under compliance. And being handled, of course, in-house. We will start working on existing issues before this hire is made, and again, we're in full force with high grass violations right now. I'd also like to announce that starting next month, we will be starting the process for the search for the permanent Director of Public Services and Safety, of course, next month. The police department has been busy reminding residents about the placement of trash cans in advance of the allowable time frame to be placed at the curb, and for allowing cans to stay beyond the allowable time period. Initial warnings have been issued, then of course an escalating fee schedule will be incurred. A copy of the revised ordinance will be placed in the upcoming newsletter as a reminder. Big things are happening with the CIC. We now have a fully executed purchase and sale agreement with Civitas Development Group, who will be working through their due diligence period to finalize their plans for the project. O'Rourke Wrecking will be starting the demolition of the old bank building, hopefully within the next 2 weeks. And I'd like to thank fellow CIC board member Chris Schildmeyer for his efforts in the coordination of this process. We will hopefully be moving on to the strip mall portion immediately following the bank building. I also have a thank you from Diane Smith from the St. Clement Food Pantry for us helping promote their Lenten food collection, which of course was a 4-day process, which they were able to gather 409 rolls of bath tissue, 119 rolls of paper towels, 9 boxes of tissues, 43 bars of soap, 36 sticks of deodorant, 52 tubes of toothpaste, hundreds of toothbrushes, and 62 boxes of cereal, and 500 pounds of non-perishable food items. Also, there were monetary donations, but again, these donations help them feed and support our neighbors who struggle to feed themselves and their families. So again, they're very thankful for our assistance, and again, the current hours of operation are 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. on the second and fourth Mondays of the month if you need their services or know someone that does. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Auditor, Ms. Brickway.
Thank you, Mr. President. Before I give my report, I want to explain something that happened 2 weeks ago. I went over to the Board of Elections to file our levy resolution, and apparently our past treasurer had been notified and that we are not allowed to do an August one. So I did not hand in the information. I asked them if they could please let me know future changes, but they said no, they only send it to the treasurer. But he said from now on that unless you're in fiscal emergency, that you only can do a May and a November. So I will start the whole process over. I apologize. I had no idea. And he apologized too. So it is what it is, and I will start the process over. I'll probably put it on the agenda to put it on the council meeting for the next for the May meeting, and we can start the process again. Then on the agenda is Ordinance 13. Most of it we discussed at the Committee of the Whole. I did make a few additions to it. The first one being county collection fees and the professional services. This professional services is for the auditor department. What happened is we did get a much nicer property tax. Instead of being in the 400s, it was like 550,000, but a lot of it was from delinquent. And because it was delinquent, we had to pay more for the collection, and the collection took up my entire line item plus. So I had to use all of the county collections fees, and I had to use the professional services. So this is just basically putting a little more money back into professional services and funding the county collection fees. I'm gathering we probably will not need all this, but I don't know how many more delinquent people are going to pay taxes until we actually get the money. I'm trying to think what else was changed. Oh, the other two that were changed was pool supplies and pool equipment. So basically, they had a lot of issues going on at the pool of things breaking down, which is what I explained to you last time. Well, they're continuing. So we're putting a little more into supplies because we used a lot of the supplies to cover the incidentals, and now we need to buy chlorine. Speaking of chlorine, the chlorine tank went out. So we had to special order a chlorine tank today. So that will, and we had to rush order it, so it's in here in time for pool season. So that is what that is. And it's for other equipment. The tank itself and a temporary tank will cost us about, between the temporary and the new one, about $5,000. So we're working on that right now. And the only other change I wanted to explain is the employee accumulated retirement time. We used to call that the employee accumulated sick time. Well, after thinking about how this line item is used, I just renamed it, which doesn't need to be voted on, but I wanted to explain it to you. So in the future, when somebody retires, they get the option of cashing out their vacation time from just that year, and then a DTO. Well, what we've always done in the past is the vacation time and the DTO comes right out of that department's salaries. So it always throws their budgets off because they don't know. Like if somebody comes in and says, I'm retired in 2 weeks, we need to have that money. So I'm going to change that. I'm going to kind of talk to all the chiefs and see what they think we might need in the future, especially with 3 people retiring. And I probably will be asking for an additional appropriation to that, but then I won't have to be worrying about the salary line items either. So if you're just wondering what the name of that one is, that's what that is about. Are there any questions? Then that concludes my report.
Thank you. Director of Law, Ms. Van Valkenburg.
Thank you. I had mentioned at the Laws, Contracts, and, not Law, Contracts and Claims Committee, at the Committee of the Whole, possibly putting together a resolution regarding retaining the services of the Energy Alliances Group, but I didn't, because they want a contract signed, Mr. Morton forwarded that to me during the meeting. So I've looked at it. I have 1 or 2 questions, and I'm following up on that with Energy Alliance. So I'll have something ready for you to look at our next meeting, Committee of the Whole. We can move forward with it at that point. So, and there were questions at our committee of the whole meeting about house numbers. I had previously provided some information to Mr. Asbach. I've now forwarded all that to you all. You should have gotten that email. I had checked previously and didn't see anything that required houses to have, residences or buildings to actually have house numbers on them. I know Mr. Schildmeyer thought it might be in our zoning code. I had looked through that, and I forwarded, I asked our building and personnel about it, and Jerry said no, that we don't have anything. So he confirmed that I wasn't finding something because I didn't see it. He said there wasn't anything. So, Mr. Schildmeyer, if you have something more specific for me to look at, I'm happy to do so.
Mr. President, Ms. Valerie, can you check in our codified ordinances? What I found was 1301 is our building code,
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
and it says our building code is the composition is Ohio Basic Building Code and Ohio's Residential Code.
Okay.
And in Ohio's Residential Code, in section 319.1, it talks about addresses and how they're required to be posted. So just, I think that ties us into that, but please double check that.
I'll look into that, thank you. I did actually provide you with, as part of the earlier email that I had sent to Mr. Asbach, in addition to the code section I cited, I also provided some examples of ordinances that other communities around us have done in case we're interested in doing something and laying out something more specifically. And if you just, I'm happy to prepare something, or if we want to put it into committee and talk about it, as I did give examples, I'm happy to work on that way as well. And I think, let's see, oops, I think that oh no, it doesn't conclude my report. I do need to go into executive session to talk about ongoing litigation at the end of the evening. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Treasurer, report from the treasurer, nothing. Okay, Safety and Service Director, Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think I gave everyone a more extensive report of some of the activities that I've had going on in the almost 1 month now I've been here at the village. I first want to say that the staff that I've met and worked with in that time are very helpful and knowledgeable, and it's been a pleasure working with all of those department heads and others throughout the village. I think you're very fortunate to have such a great staff here, and very much appreciate that. A few items that I want to touch on that list that may be of more interest. One, the erosion control issues that we've been working on as a result of the construction of the new school next door. As if you've been by the pool, you've noted that with the new wall that there were some erosion control issues there, some of which we were a little concerned that maybe the school during the construction didn't follow all the erosion control requirements that were put in place. So JMA, our engineer, is taking a look at that right now. They're also shooting some elevations over there to understand what the flow of the water is and how it's changed since the construction took place, and ensuring that when we go back and fix the area of the street next to the wall, that we do that in such a way that we can handle the flow of water that's going there, and also make sure that hopefully the erosion is going to be fixed as well that's taking place on the school property. Also went out and looked initially with a contractor at the failing retaining wall at the Baker Street parking lot that we own. And after really looking at it a little bit more closely, felt like that it was necessary to get our engineers also involved in that. It's a fairly extensive wall over there. And Mr. Godey, after looking at it, concurred that likely that we'll need a structural engineer to look at it for any repairs and or replacements that we do on that. And so we're trying to look at options and hopefully find the most effective and least costly option for the village that we can do with that wall. Also, I wanted to note that we've received 4 proposals for the Vine Street Heritage District redevelopment plan. If you recall, Hamilton County Planning gave us I guess a mini grant is what it's called, to be able to study that. We're working with Alloy Development. They prepared the RFP for that. We were fortunate to get 4 very good companies to propose on that. The next step in the process, we've put together an ad hoc committee of 4 members. The mayor and myself will be on that committee We have a resident in the community and also a business owner on Vine Street that'll be working with us, as well as Alloy, to review those and hopefully narrow them down to the top 1 or 2 for an interview, and expect a recommendation from that committee within the next couple of months, if not sooner. And then finally, I wanted to note that I've spent quite a bit of time looking through our insurance coverages. As you know, we changed insurance, I guess, last year, Mayor, correct, just to make sure that the old policies and the current policies overlapped, and there weren't any gaps. We did find one in particular that we worked on and we got corrected, and then we have one more on cybercrime that we're looking at, just to make sure that the current policy we have in place is as robust as what we had with the last policy. So those are some highlights. If you had any other questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Thank you much.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Tax Administrator, Ms. Helms.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have the March 2025 end-of-month receipts for the tax office. Collections from March were $1,606,173. March of 2025 is down 17.31%, or $336,188 from March of 2024. Refunds for March were $24,329. Delinquent tax collected with capital recovery was $1,051. Delinquent tax collected with the Ohio Attorney General's office was $98,690. 261 delinquent 2023 tax year assessments were sent to the Ohio Attorney General's office. The amount sent is approximately $485,750. Just a few updates. Sharon has deposited the last of the checks from the tax day today. It will take us about 2 months to audit all the tax returns, including the e-files, so please be patient. We will notify you by letter if we have any questions. Also, we have had a lot of residents who want to discuss tax information or tax matters regarding their adult children, grandchildren, boyfriends, girlfriends, etc. I know this may seem to be an inconvenience to many of you, but please understand it's against federal and state law to discuss tax matters to anyone other than the taxpayer. Also, Sharon and I wanted to thank Councilman Jeff Edwards for his very thoughtful and kind gesture. He brought us sandwiches on tax day. It was a long day, so thank you, Jeff. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. We'll move to reports of standing committees. Finance, Mr. Morton.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Finance Committee did not meet last week due to there not being any agenda items. However, I am happy to see Ordinance 14 on the table tonight to continue the process to improve Greenlee Ave, which is something that we've talked through in our Finance and Public Improvements committees. The next Finance Committee meeting is scheduled for May 21st at 6 p.m. in the lower level of City Hall. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Service, Mr. Gustuccio.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I'd like to take a moment to recognize the upcoming retirement of Joe Langridge, who will be concluding his remarkable career at the St. Bernard Service Department next Tuesday, April 29th. Joe has dedicated 28 years of service to the village and brought a lifetime of experience to the role. A lifelong St. Bernard resident, Joe attended St. Clement and Roger Bacon before serving 4 years in the United States Marine Corps. He later spent 9 years working at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Combined with his time at the Service Department, Joe has contributed an impressive 41 years in public service. We thank Joe for his steadfast commitment to our community and wish him the very best in retirement. The waste collection fee report for March 2025 shows that $26,493.70 was remitted to the village. As part of the waste collection report for the month of March, the Service Department completed the following: 34 dump trucks spotted at residents, 22 dumpsters spotted at residents, 167.08 tons of garbage taken to the landfill, 20.8 tons of recycling material sent to Rumpke Recycle, 8,135 pounds of scrap metal and 155 pounds of aluminum recycled, and 32 tires have also been collected. Lastly, our annual Cleanup St. Bernard Day is happening this Saturday, April 26th from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. All participants are asked to meet in the lower level parking lot of City Hall before the event begins. Trash bags, gloves, and garbage pickers will be provided for all volunteers. For residents on Chalet, Hager, and in Alpine Terrace, longtime St. Bernard resident Kelly Valerius has kindly volunteered to lead a cleanup group focused on the condos and neighboring streets. If you're joining that group, please meet outside the pool's clubhouse at 12 p.m. to receive your supplies. If you have any questions, you can contact her at 513-227-8838 or myself at 513-543-9044.
To wrap up the event, we invite all volunteers and anyone else who'd like to join to stop by the pavilion at Vine Street Park for a community grill out. It's our way of saying thank you for your efforts in helping keep our village clean and beautiful. Feel free to bring a chair and a cooler with your favorite drinks. Everyone is welcome whether or not you participate in the cleanup. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Public improvements, Mr. Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. President. There was no need for a Public Improvement Committee meeting, but I would like to thank Mr. Larry Phillips for presenting a great program this month on Lafayette for the St. Bernard Ludlow Grove Society. Lafayette was a statesman and soldier and aided our country greatly in winning its independence from England. I learned many things I never knew before, and the program was very interesting and entertaining for all in attendance. If you would be interested in attending a meeting, they occur on the third Monday of each month at 7 p.m. in the main hall of the municipal building. And although it's a month away, I would like to encourage all St. Bernard residents to attend our Memorial Day service, honoring those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Last year, the Scoutmaster commented to me that the crowd seems to be smaller every year. These heroes deserve their names to be read, heard, and remembered by their neighbors. Please join us. I'm hoping for a huge crowd to honor those who protected us. Thank you, Mr. President. This concludes my report.
Thank you. Safety, Ms. Hausfeld.
Thank you, Mr. President. Before I read the Police and Fire Department reports, I did want to announce that the Safety Committee will be having a meeting, is set for Tuesday, May 6th at 6 p.m. here in Council Chambers. Some of the topics being discussed will be the parking issues in the parks and the streets of St. Bernard, also code enforcement's ticketing for trash cans, and also, like Valerie had mentioned, display numbers on homes and apartment buildings so that they can be easily identified, especially in case of an emergency. First off, I have the St. Bernard Fire Department report for the month of March. Fire incidents: structural fires 3, other fires 7, vehicle fires 1, auto accidents 9, hazmat incidents 4, service calls 8, fire alarms 12, CO alarms 1, EMS assists 10, total of 55. Mutual aid given: Elmwood 3, Norwood 8, Laughlin 3, Little Miami 1, Coleraine Township 1. Mutual aid received was 0. EMS incidentals: transports 53, non-transports 46, for a total of 99. Mutual aid given: Elmwood Place 6, Norwood 8, Reading 1, Marymount 1. Mutual aid received 1 was from Norwood. All personnel completed Mayday search operation training. All paramedics attended EMS training with Dr. Jason McMullen. That completes the fire department report. I also have the police department report. For the month of March, the police department had 682 calls for service, resulting in 538 contacts. There were an additional 474 other service calls, details that were not necessarily called in by the public. These calls for service included 43 total criminal offenses and resulted in 110 criminal arrests, 26 traffic citations, as well as 77 traffic warnings. They responded to 20 accidents, 5 of which included injuries. And under the news and notes, the hiring process nearly completed. We are conducting background checks and various assessments on the candidates in an attempt to fill 2 spots in the police department. One of those are due to the pending retirement of Lieutenant Ungary. If you get the chance, wish him well on his well-deserved retirement after nearly 30 years of service to the village. Reminder that May is Bike Safety Month, so please be cautious and aware to ensure your safety as well as the safety of others. Also, the Police and Benevolent Golf Outing is set for May 17th at Winton Woods. If anyone is interested in playing, sponsoring a hole, or helping out, please contact personnel at the Safety Center. Also, the Police and Firemen, again, is on the 17th. They will hold their golf outing at Winton Woods. They are looking for volunteers to assist with the event. Anyone interested in entering a foursome or lending a helping hand for the day of this event, please contact Chief Simos or Chief Young. Thank you. That concludes my reports, Mr. President.
Thank you. Laws, contracts, and claims, Mr. Schultmeyer.
No report, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you. Marketing, Mr. Culbertson.
Thanks, Mr. President. The deadline to sign up for T-ball is next Friday, May 2nd. Please stop by City Hall to sign up between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. The Village's 2025 special event schedule has been completed. Please go to the Recreation Department's Facebook page for more details. The opening concert in the pavilion will take place on May 17th at 7 p.m. with music provided by Slow Train. Thanks to Joe Lingridge on his upcoming retirement, and thanks to all the departments, Recreation, Police, Fire, Service, the administration for the wonderful event, the Easter event over the weekend. It was a great turnout. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Business and Industry, Mr. Estep.
No report, Mr. President.
Thank you. Committee of the Whole, Ms. Stegman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Minutes were submitted Wednesday, the 23rd, and I have no communications this evening.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Ms. Brickley.
before we go into read the ordinances, I was just gonna ask Caroline, if you look on ordinance 13, there's 2 section 3s, can you just do a 4? So we don't need to amend it.
Yep, I'll fix it now.
Thank you.
All right. At this time, clerk, will you please give the first reading of ordinance number 13, 2025?
Ordinance number 13, 2025, authorizing and directing the auditor to transfer funds and appropriate additional funds to create a new line item and declaring an emergency.
Members of council, you've heard the first reading of ordinance number 13, 2025. What is your pleasure?
Mr. President,
Mr. Schultmeyer.
I'd like to make a motion to suspend with the second, third reading of ordinance number 13,
I'll
2025.
second.
Motion by Mr. Schultmeyer, seconded by Mr. Estep, to suspend with the second and third reading of ordinance number 13, 2025. Are there any remarks? If not, is there anyone in the audience wishing to address council on ordinance number 13, 2025? If not, clerk, will you please call the roll on suspension?
Mr. Morton?
Aye.
Mr. Stuchel?
Aye.
Mr. Edwards?
Aye.
Ms. Hausfeld?
Aye.
Mr. Schuldmeyer?
Aye.
Mr. Culbertson?
Aye.
And Mr. Estep?
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Members of council, what is your pleasure on adoption?
Mr. President,
Mr. Schultmeyer.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt ordinance number 13, 2025.
I'll
Second.
second it.
Motion by Mr. Schultmeyer, seconded by Ms. Hausfeld, to adopt ordinance number 13, 2025. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Morton?
Aye.
Mr. Stuchel?
Aye.
Mr. Edwards?
Aye.
Ms. Hausfeld?
Aye.
Mr. Schuldmeyer?
Aye.
Mr. Culbertson?
Aye.
And Mr. Estep?
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Ordinance number 13, 2025 is adopted as read. Clerk, will you please give the first reading of ordinance number 14, 2025?
Ordinance number 14, 2025, an ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Safety and Service to enter into a contract with Adlita, Inc. for the Greenlee Avenue Improvements Project and declaring an emergency.
Members of council, you've heard the first reading of ordinance number 14, 2025. What is your pleasure?
Mr. President,
Mr. Schultmeyer.
I'd like to make a motion to suspend with the second and third reading of ordinance number 14, 2025.
Seconded.
Motion by Mr. Schultmeyer, seconded by Mr. Morton, to suspend with the second and third reading of ordinance number 14, 2025. Are there any remarks?
Mr. President.
Mr. Mayor.
So I do have a brief remark, just so everyone's aware. As far as our portion of the project may be identified as $964,482.34. But we are in this, that is, there were grant funding that came into play, and we do have a 51% obligation, which basically equates to $491,885.99 as of right now. So again, we're not on the hook for the whole amount, so just wanted everyone to realize that.
Thank you. Any other?
Mr. President.
Ms. Brickwood.
To add to that, we also we will not be paying the Greater Cincinnati Water Works portion. They're gonna be paying for that. We're working it out and in hopes that we don't have to pay it ahead of time and get reimbursed. So we're gonna try, I was talking to Mr. Godey about that. So if all works out well, we will only have to appropriate the 51% that Jonathan said. And I was going to prepare that for an ordinance for the next council meeting.
All right. Any other remarks? Not, is there anyone in the audience wishing to address council on ordinance 14? If not, Clerk, will you please call the roll on suspension?
Mr. Morton?
Aye.
Mr. Stuchel?
Aye.
Mr. Edwards?
Aye.
Ms. Hausfeld?
Aye.
Mr. Schulmeyer?
Aye.
Mr. Culbertson?
Aye.
And Mr. Estep?
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Members of council, what is your pleasure on adoption?
Mr. President,
Mr. Schulmeyer.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 14, 2025.
Seconded.
Motion by Mr. Schulmeyer, seconded by Mr. Morton to adopt ordinance number 14, 2025. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Morton?
Aye.
Mr. Stuchel?
Aye.
Mr. Edwards?
Aye.
Ms. Hausfeld?
Aye.
Mr. Schulmeyer? Mr. Culbertson?
Aye.
And Mr. Estep?
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Ordinance number 14, 2025 is adopted as read. Before we go to anyone on council with old business, I will entertain a motion at this time to go into executive session to discuss pending litigation.
Mr. President,
Mr. Morton.
I move to enter executive session to discuss pending litigation.
Second it.
Motion by Mr. Morton, seconded by Mr. Culbertson to go into executive session at the end of this meeting to discuss pending litigation. Are there any remarks? Not all those in favor signify by saying aye. Excuse me, let's do, clerk, will you please call the roll on executive session?
Mr. Morton?
Aye.
Mr. Stuchel?
Aye.
Mr. Edwards?
Aye.
Ms. Hausfeld? Aye. Mr. Schulmeyer?
Aye.
Mr. Culbertson?
Aye.
And Mr. Estep?
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Council will go into executive session at the end of the meeting. This time, does anyone on council have anything under old business? Does anyone on council have anything under new business? Not, is there anyone in the audience wishing to address council this evening? If not, the next committee of the whole will be Thursday, May 8th at 7 p.m. And at this time, we'll go into executive session to discuss pending litigation. Be back as quickly as we'll allow.